But I've got all those tabs, and they're folded over, and so I've got that piece pretty securely in there. This is my bail. So what I can do now is I can take, and I would usually use a round-nosed pair of pliers, but I can take a pair of pliers, bend over my bail, and now, a little wire. What I've got is I've got a hanger, a bail, so that I can hang my piece. Is that showing up? Mm-hmm. Okay. So again, that was like prong making 101. That was really, really fast and much faster than I would normally do. But that's the basic way of doing this and setting these. Yeah. And I do it all the time. You know, here's another piece where I've left the prongs a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. There's another piece, and I'll find it in just a moment, with a lens in it.
Oh, I think it's on that side because you showed before.
I think actually it might be over there.
No, we took it out.
No?
No.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But my point here is that, you know, you can, any size, any shape of the concrete, any of the objects that you're seeing here, every single one of them can be set exactly the way I just showed you. It doesn't matter if it's kind of, you know, larger, if it's curved, if it's straight on the side or anything like that, it doesn't matter. These tabs or prongs will work no matter what kind of shape and no matter what size you're doing.
Okay. I have a few questions here about that, okay? Just let me find it because they come up.
Sure.
Okay. Do you treat, Linda is asking, do you treat the copper setting so it does not turn green with some type of sealant?
That heat treating that I did before, that heat treatment, the oxides, and again, I don't mean to get too technical, but what happens is tarnish, that we know of tarnish and everything, tarnish is actually oxidation that forms on the surface of the copper. And what I'm doing by heating it is actually forcing those oxides to form. That coating of oxide actually shields the copper from the atmosphere, and it would stop that green color from happening. There is a caveat to that. If you pickle, and this is really important, if you pickle your copper after you do this, meaning you put it into that mildly acidic solution, and there are lots of different pickles, whatever you're using, if you don't neutralize the pickle afterwards by putting it in sodium bicarbonate and water and stuff like that, just, you know, regular sodium bicarbonate, then that green is probably going to show up down the road someplace.
Okay. Guest 37, I think we answered that, but can you drill a hole in the concrete rather than back it up with metal?
Yes.
Yes, it's just a protection. Annette saying, so if you don't metal back your piece, can you still attach it with glue, or should you set in the glue when making it? I think she's talking about the pins.
Talking about a finding? No. I'm sorry. Well, you know what? Let me back up. You do have those pins, and I don't have an example because I don't like them very much. Again, this is my own prejudice. You have those pins that you can buy with the metal back and the little, you know, switch thing at one end and everything like that. For me, that sings of not finished work and not handmade. But to answer your question, if you want to use one of those pin backs, the answer is yes, you can actually glue that to the back of the concrete. However, what you would need to use would be something like a hot glue. A regular glue is probably not going to allow you that because the metal of that pin is going to separate from the glue. Remember, it doesn't absorb. It usually has those little holes that the glue can come up through, and that's why I would use hot glue.
Okay. Guest 147, do you ever put fire to soften copper prior to sawing or bending your prongs?
Oh, yeah, sure. It's called annealing, and we covered that, I think, the first day. We talked about annealing. And the answer is yes. However, the idea that you would anneal metal to make it easier to saw because you think you have, quote, softened the metal, that's not true. The sawing is not going to be any different whether you do anneal or you don't anneal. it really doesn't have any bearing on sawing and the ease of that at all. Bending the prongs, yes, that would be a little different. I also, if I can just back up a moment, the reason I bent up the prongs to just short of 90 degrees is you want to bend prongs once. And I should have said that, and I apologize. So you want to bend them only once, because if I bend it and then try to bend it back, this is something I talked about a couple of days ago too. When I bend it back, that metal where I bent it back becomes hardened. And I will never be able to bend it back into place again, no matter what.
Jen is asking, if I wanted to pour concrete directly into my metal box with scatter pins, would I put the scatter pins in first and then pour the concrete, therefore eliminating the need to solder?
Oh, no. And I think anyway, when I was